It always starts with a single module, a small little box with a few knobs. And before you know it, you're deep into cables, blinking lights, and a bank account that looks slightly concerning. But don't worry, before you fall into the modular rabbit hole and accidentally spend your rent on modules, please don't. Let's talk about the basics first. In this video, I'll show you what actually matters before buying your first module, so you don't have to rebuild your entire setup after 2 weeks. Spoiler, you probably still will, but at least this time with a plan. And if you're already thinking, I don't want to forget any of this, I've got you. There's a free Eurorack guide waiting for you on my Patreon right now. Grab it before you keep watching. Link is in the description. Eurorack is a modular synthesizer format developed by Dieter Döpfer in 1995. The idea behind it, instead of a finished synthesizer, you build your own from individual building blocks, the modules. Each module has a specific job. An oscillator generates sound, a filter shapes it, an envelope controls how it behaves over time. You decide which building blocks to combine and how. And that's exactly what makes Eurorack so unique. There is no right or wrong, no fixed signal flow, no presets, just you, your modules, and your cables. A patch is the connection between modules, made with cables. You plug a cable from the output of one module into the input of another, creating a signal flow. No two patches sound the same. That's exactly what makes Eurorack so fascinating and so time-consuming. Every module needs a home, and that's your case. Without a suitable case, nothing works in Eurorack. First things first, there are cases with and without a power supply. Pay attention to this, because otherwise you'll need to buy one separately. Cases come in various colors and shapes. Here are the most common options. A case in the classic 19-inch format that integrates easily into studio furniture. This type of case usually already comes with a power supply in the form of a module and a so-called flying bus cable. This is a great option if you already have a 19-inch rack for other equipment. Usually made out of wood, aluminium or plastic. Popular models include the Tip-Top Mantis, Intelligal 7U or Döpfer LC6 or LC9. These cases come with a built-in power supply. Essentially a box in the right size with rails for the modules. A suitable power supply needs to be purchased separately. If you're handy or just want to give it a go, you can build your own case. With some wood, the right rails and a sturdy power supply, you can put together an individual setup. This option is often cheaper than ready-made cases. Always plan for a bit more space than you currently need, but don't go too large either, so you don't overwhelm yourself. Modular has a steep learning curve. Give yourself time to absorb what you've learned. Before diving deeper, there's one important distinction you need to understand. Not all Eurorack modules are the same height. There are two formats you'll encounter. 3U modules are the standard. The U stands for rack unit, and 3U modules are the tall ones you see in the vast majority of Eurorack systems. Almost every module on the market is 3U, so if you're just starting out, this is what you'll be working with. 1U modules are much shorter, roughly 1/3 of the height of a 3U module. They're designed to fit into dedicated 1U rows that some cases offer, sitting neatly between the regular rows of 3U modules. They're great for utility functions like attenuators, mixers, or MIDI interfaces, since they take up very little space. There are actually two different 1U standards, the Intelligal format and the Pulp Logic format. These are not compatible with each other, meaning a 1U module built for an Intelligal case will not fit in a Pulp Logic 1U row, and vice versa. Always check which standard your case supports before buying 1U modules. Not all cases have a 1U row. The Intelligal 7U is a popular example of one that does. If your case only has 3U rows, you simply won't be able to use 1U modules. Keep this in mind when choosing your case, especially if you're interested in keeping your system compact and tidy. Without power, nothing runs, and a bad power supply can not only make your system unstable, but also cause annoying noise. So look very carefully when choosing your power supply unit. There are two main options. Built-in power supplies. Many cases already come with an integrated power supply that is permanently built into the housing. This is convenient as everything is neatly installed and you don't have to worry about wiring. This is a flexible solution. A central power source, often in the form of a module, supplies your modules via flat bus cables with multiple connectors. Every module consumes power, and often more than you think. Calculate the total consumption of your modules and always plan for a reserve. Rule of thumb: Plan at least 25 to 30% more than you currently need. Good power supplies minimize hum, noise and interference. Check reviews and stick to trusted manufacturers like Doepfer, IntelliGel or TipTop Audio. If you're building your own case, research power requirements, cable quality and safe wiring thoroughly beforehand. Otherwise you risk an expensive and potentially smoking experiment. Before you buy anything, definitely check out ModularGrid. Not familiar with ModularGrid yet? On this website you can plan your system virtually and immediately see whether everything fits. In terms of space, do all the modules fit in my case? Is my case deep enough for the modules selected? Power consumption. Does my power supply have enough capacity for what I have in mind? You can also visualize your setup and think through your workflow early on. Trust me, ModularGrid saves you from impulse purchases. Well, some of them. Maybe. No cables, no sound. But which cables do you need? There are two options. Regular patch cables. These are the simple 3.5mm mono jack connectors. They're the standard and absolutely essential. Stackables. These cables allow you to send one signal to multiple destinations. Extremely handy. In general, it makes sense to buy cables in various lengths. I currently have everything from 5 to 90 cm. Depending on how large your system is, their lengths may vary. You can also come up with a color system. For example, green for control voltage signals and red for audio. This is completely optional, but really useful for keeping track of things in larger patches. Pro tip: buy a few extra right away. These things disappear in a mysteriously similar way to socks in a washing machine. This is probably the question I get asked most often, and it deserves its own answer. Which modules make sense for beginners? Oscillators, filters, envelopes, VCAs, and more. We'll go way beyond the scope of this video. I've made a dedicated video on exactly that topic. Make sure to check it out before you start shopping. You can buy modules either new or used. For new modules, Thomann is a solid starting point. Wide selection, fast shipping, and straightforward returns. Many manufacturers also sell directly through their own websites. For used modules, Reverb is worth checking out. It has a huge international community. ModularGrid itself also has a marketplace where users sell their modules directly. Let's be honest, Eurorack is expensive. A solid starter system, case, power supply and 5 to 8 modules can easily run between 800 and 1500 euros. Individual modules typically cost between 100 and 400 euro. There are cheaper options out there, but quality comes at a price. Eurorack is also the most expensive hobby that feels cheap, because you're only buying just one module, and then another one, and then another one, and then you know the feeling. The good news, buying used is a real option and completely normal in the Eurorack community. Modules last a long time and hold their value well, which also means if something isn't working for you, you can usually sell it without much of a loss. Eurorack is a playground, but without a plan, you'll get lost quickly. Ask yourself, what do I want to do? Sound design, percussion, melodies. Do I want to control my system with MIDI or prefer an internal sequencer? Do I want to play live or jam in the studio? A rough plan helps you buy modules more deliberately, rather than just wanting everything. You'll want everything anyway. If in doubt, try modules out somewhere beforehand. There may be a store near you or people with their own system you can ask. The ModularGrid forum and Reddit are also great places to connect with like-minded people. VCVRack is a software that lets you try out digital patches. You can test concepts and different ideas here. Ideal for figuring out what you actually need. Semi-modular synthesizers can be a fantastic entry point. These devices generally work without additional modules, but can be patched internally to manipulate the signal flow. And when you later add more modules, you can expand the device's functionality as much as you like. The advantage? You immediately have a device that works out of the box and still has plenty of potential for expansion. In case you're wondering what I use myself, I currently have 4 different types of cases in use, depending on the purpose and my mood. 19-inch rack. These cases are permanently integrated into my studio. I mainly choose them because I had free space in my racks. My faithful companion for gigs or when I want to patch something on the go. It's built extra deep so that larger modules like my Doepfer sequencer fit inside. Perfect for using a specific module independently in the studio, for example, right next to the mixer or computer. My experimentation box. For videos and new ideas, I power it through the power supply of one of my 19-inch racks. This case always stays in the studio and is ideal for spontaneous sessions and creative play in front of the camera. Now you know what to look out for before buying your first module. Plan your case, make sure you have clean power, use ModularGrid, get enough cables, and above all, have a rough idea where you want your system to go. If in doubt, test the modules beforehand or exchange ideas with like-minded people. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Write in the comments which module you're getting first, and now happy patching.